This is a question for all three of you together separately, wherever you wish. Robots in Disguise recently brought Skybyte over from Robots in Disguise into the IDW verse. If you could each pick one character from an alternative Transformers continuity to bring them into your drawings, writings, however you wish, which one would you pick and why?
Just before someone else says it, and this counts, but I bring Death Set into it. Way back when I was, mapping out the first however many issues of Morning CI, and this never went outside of my desk, or off my desk, but I thought, how good would it be for the Lost Light crew to encounter Death Set on their travels, putting to one side the incredibly difficult legal wranglings that would need to happen for that to take place. But that would be my, going back to my childhood again, that would be my big wish. And some people would disagree. I've heard some people say, I've heard some people say that they wouldn't like that, but I would, so that's my answer.
Yeah, I hate to give like a lame answer, but all of my favorites really are in like the IDW verse. Soundwave is a personal favorite. Maybe trying, I really got to draw all of them, so yeah. I'm sorry, it's a horrible answer.
I think the Beast Wars characters could work well in G1. I'm not necessarily let's tie the origins of the Beast Wars as we know it into it, but I think IDW could do something where you could have, especially with all the nails as they're referred to, sort of returning to Cybertron. They could have beast modes already, like Skybot does, or you could have Rat Trap with a vehicle mode or something like that. He's already kind of part vehicle anyway in the later Beast Wars series. So, someone like the animated is good as well. There's a Bulkhead. Bulkhead I think translates really well into most continuities. But I think maybe Rat Trap, maybe Tarantulas. I think would be good. I think you could do something really good with those. To different consequences, obviously. Rat Trap isn't necessarily going to be a game changer, but I think it'd be a fun addition to any comic. So, yeah.
Hello. I grew up watching the Transformers G1 movie, so my favourite's always been Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime. That's right, I'm a Hot Rod Rodimus person. If you each had to recommend me, if I said what would be the best Hot Rod and Rodimus comic I should try and read, what would you recommend?
Spot Hot Rod.
I bought that yesterday.
It's good, isn't it?
It is good. I also got Road to Chaos, which I'm only on to issue 3, but it is quite a good read. But would there be any others?
Well, things in the comics, people never really hot rod very much. So there's lots of really good Rodimus Prime stuff in the UK comics, and I guess that kind of really kicks off from the Wanted Dead or Alive, the Galvatron stuff with Dead Set showing up. So I think, as a whole, at this stage I think of Marvel UK's Galvatron Rodimus stories as one story, even though they take place over like 50 issues. So I think kind of from the post-movie stories where Rodimus is in charge and he does the whole you beg for mercy, request denied thing, and we sort of see that he's a different Prime, and then it goes into a self-doubt, but maybe not a crippling way that he has it in the cartoon. It's the fact he's hiring a bounty hunter to help get rid of Galvatron, it's I think the Marvel UK stuff is pretty solid. I can't think of anywhere it's done better. He's had some really good service in the IDW comics, and he's really getting his time to shine, and some really ace character development now. Ace. Do people still say Ace anymore? Yeah? Okay, I'm bringing Ace back anyway. As captain of the Lost Light, he's very hot rodding. He's in a position of leadership and responsibility, and so I guess he's growing in some ways, but you can sort of see, I love the fact that there's always that gulf of him missing the target, by a lot. He's so confident, but he's never quite there, and that's what I like about him. So I guess it's creepy and crawly to say the best escape the comic from James. It probably is though, to be honest. But for some proper hardcore Rodimus Galvatron action, I think Marvel UK is the place to go. Unless other guys here have got favourites that they want to shout out.
Yeah, just very quickly to say that in the Marvel, the real tail end of Marvel UK, when you nearly reach the end of the black and white stories era, and it's all the last future stories they did, and by that Well, it was the Autobots had been exiled from Cybertron. They were actually thinking about it. There was some parallels really, because they were trapped on board one single spaceship, and Rodimus ended up sort of possessed. The Matrix was part possessed by Unicron, and it was getting very, very dark. And then unfortunately that was the last we had of that storyline. But I always thought that could have gone in a really interesting direction.
That is that sort of kind of, I guess it's a what-if story, but it kind of fits the Peace story from the 1989 annual, which is kind of the last Transformer story in some ways, where the war is over and Rodimus Prime steps down. I always liked, and kind of as I grow older, I saw the parallels in how some leaders age horribly under the mantle of leadership. You sort of see it in the real world, you sort of see it with Obama a little bit now, and you sort of saw with Tony Blair, you just saw it crumble before. And other leaders like thrive, they sort of like, just get off on this one's power. And I guess Putin, yeah, look at Putin, I guess, Prime unfortunately falls into that, like that he's sort of still thriving, Megatron obviously, but I kind of like that we kind of got a story arc for Rodimus and that, from the youthful exuberance, it was all ahead of him to kind of, the war was over and, he could have been a leader then, he probably would have been a good leader then, he could have managed it, but he compacted in, that's his last story.
Just to expose my vulnerabilities as a kid. Peace was like a 5. It was a very short story, one of the few not written by Simon, and it was in one of the UK annuals, and it's set a long time into the future, and there's literally a handful of characters left. There's only one. They think they've killed the Decepticons. Triton is an undercover agent, and he's the last one. He breaks cover. He sort of ferments disarray and conflict within that Autobot group, and they all kill each other. And I was profoundly depressed by that story. Christmas time too, and I remember sitting in my bedroom and I wrote a letter to Marvel UK saying, I really hope that's not the last story. Even then I was very obsessed with the continuity. Is that in continuity? It's not written by Simon Fenner. Does that count? Can you undo that? But I was such a, the other, even more embarrassing confession actually, nothing to do with your question, sorry, but the only other time I wrote to Marvel UK, in sort of not in a normal letter space type thing, it was to ask if they'd reinstate the next week box with the training the next issue, so I was very invested in that comic as a kid. Yeah, Ron's an amalgamation of the many therapists that I saw.